Oh, Kandinistan, I don't even know what to say to you. Yes, I do. You're wicked. Wicked. Ew, wicked. You want to sit there and persecute Christianity and embrace Islam? Have you lost your mind? You think these Christmas decorations that you're putting up now is going to be up there when the Muslims take over? No, sir, not at all. Maybe you think that if you keep giving in to Islam, they'll use a sharp knife when they cut your neck off. Just one quick thwack. At least you won't have it sawed off. That's where you're heading for. That's when you're headed for. You got to know the history of Islam. Once they outnumber you, you're gone. You're gone. You're going to have one of two choices. You can convert or whack, off with your head. And you want to persecute Christians? Let me ask you this. How many Muslims have you banned from your country? How many Muslims have you put into a cell, a light room, with just a concrete floor to sleep on? Like you did Artur. You're wicked. You're wicked. That's why. Why don't you show some backbone like some of these other countries do and not let the Muslims take over? But instead, you do your lip-wristed thing, you do your pacifist thing, and you just give in to whatever they ask for. Pretty soon you'll stop selling pork. What's going to happen to the Canadian bacon industry once the Muslims take over? It's gone. No more. Wicked, wicked, wicked. How dare you? How dare you persecute men of God that are preaching this glorious gospel? How dare you? Who do you think you are? Do you think you're better than God? You think you have authority over God? He's going to judge you, and rightly so. You're going to reap what you sow, Canada. I said Kandinistan as a joke, but let me tell you what, that's a very real possibility. Unless you get your head out of your you-know-what and do the right thing. You embrace Christianity and stop pandering to these Muslims, maybe you'll get somewhere. I got bad news for you. Muslims preach against homosexuality too. In fact, if you go to a Muslim country, homosexuals are executed. What do they do in Saudi Arabia to homosexuals? They throw them off of buildings. In Iran, they hang them. And in other countries, they stone them to death. That's who you're protecting. When you protect Muslims, you're protecting a religion that executes homosexuals. We love homosexuals. We love them enough to tell them to stop being homosexuals. We love them enough to get them to repent, convert to Christianity. But no, you can't have that. No, you can't have that. You got to persecute Christianity. You have lost your mind. You have completely lost your mind. Take on the mind of Christ. You are wicked, wicked, wicked. You're going to sit there and persecute men of God, want to keep their churches open, want to feed the homeless, want to preach a gospel that saves, a gospel that says love your neighbor, not blow up your neighbor like the Muslims do. Am I wrong in saying the Quran says strike at the neck? I don't think so. Fight the unbeliever? I don't think so. That's what you're protecting. That's what you're protecting. You protect Christianity, that's love your neighbor. Obey the government. Why would you not want that? You think Muslims are going to obey the government when they take over? when they outnumber you? Oh, no. No, 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 no. They're going to set up their own government. Woe to you. Woe to you. If you continue down this path, you are continuing on the path to destruction, and rightly so. The leaders in Sodom and Gomorrah protected the homosexuals, and look what happened to them. Fire rained down from heaven and burned them up. And let me tell you what, there's going to be another flood. It's not going to be water, it's going to be fire. God is going to take vengeance on his enemies. And guess what? You are an enemy of God. By your own actions, you are an enemy of God. Because you take men of God and you persecute them. You take men of God, you throw them into jail. You take men of God and try to give them your gospel instead of the true gospel. You force them to say things that they don't believe in. Wicked, wicked, wicked. Don't even think for a second that you're a free country. You're not a free country. You're a wicked country. It's all about your message. It's all about what you want. You want a socialist country where people say comrade to each other. Well, Sieg Heil! Nothing but Nazis. Nothing but Nazis. Why are you even putting up Christmas decorations for? Why are you even doing that? You're talking out of both sides of your mouth. On one point, you want to put up Christmas decorations, say that you celebrate Christmas. But then on the other point, you want to persecute men of God, men who preach the gospel, men who keep their churches open. Because you got your own priorities. You got your own God, the God of control. You want to control people. You have to wear a mask. You have to keep 6 feet apart. You can't have public meetings. It's all about controlling people. Well, let me tell you this. A mask is not going to save you from the wrath of God. Social distancing is not going to save you from the wrath of God. There's not a single vaccine in this world that can save you from the wrath of God. And one day you will be forced to convert to Islam or have your head chopped off. Very simple. You let the Muslims take over, that's what you're going to get. You're so afraid of offending the Muslims. Well, let me tell you what, the Muslims are going to offend you one day. They're going to offend you one day. They're going to say, look, convert. Convert or off with your head. Because we fight the unbeliever. Not just self-defense, they're not just peace-loving. You got an enemy in your midst. They are commanded by their religion to act like they're your friend when they're outnumbered. Their religion tells them to act nice and to preach peace when they're outnumbered. But guess what happens when they outnumber you? You become Kurdistan. You become a Muslim country. And let me tell you what, you can't persecute Christianity like Muslims do. I'll tell you what, they're burning churches. They're lopping off the heads of Christians. You got nowhere close to the persecution of Islam, but that's where you're headed towards. That's where you're headed towards. Say goodbye to that Canadian bacon industry. Say goodbye to that Canadian bacon industry when the Muslims take over. They don't eat pork. They're not going to have it. That's another economic failure. I mean, maybe they'll take that out of Biden's book of economic failure. Get rid of the bacon industry. Wicked, wicked, wicked. I call you wicked because I'm justified in doing so when you persecute men of God men who preach the gospel. Stop persecuting Artur Pawlowski. Stop persecuting Christian Canadians. Stop banning Christians from your country because they preach the gospel. That is wicked, wicked. Whose side are you on? You can't act like you're on neutral ground. You're either with God or you're against God. And your actions show that you are against God. Repent. Repent before it's too late.